Bueno, here we are with another edition of Aztecs All In. Steve Perez and Louis Weiner with the latest from the San Diego State University Aztec Athletics Fall Football Camp. And this one's a doozy, right, Louis? What'd they do today? Announce a new shade of red for the team's uniforms? Nah, that's not it. Did they say they're going to switch to adult contemporary music at Snapdragon Stadium before home football games? That's not it either. What about free beer for the Aztecs faithful, huh? Are you kidding? No. It's bigger, much bigger than that right now. And it's an historic one, right?
Head coach Sean Lewis announced that freshman quarterback Danny O'Neal out of Cathedral High School in Indianapolis will be the starting quarterback, beating out sophomore transfer A.J. Duffy and freshman Javance Tuapata Johnson. O'Neal becomes the first true freshman quarterback to start for the Aztecs in the Division I era, which dates back to 1969. Coach said it was a very close race, but in the end, based on what he's seen from winter conditioning in January to the first 3 weeks of fall practice, that O'Neal is his guy.
But really pleased with how all three kids competed. Danny was the most accurate and the most productive all through camp. He went about his business day to day the right way, and excited to see the team respond and rally around him while we continue to build the identity of this club in all three phases, not just in him. I know we're all going to want to talk about him, but there's a lot more pieces that obviously need to improve and compete at a really, really high level so that everything doesn't fall on his shoulders, and he obviously needs to do his piece, and it's our job to make sure that we put him in the best position to be successful as we move forward into week one here. Yeah, I mean, again, his accuracy, his process, day in and day out, his competitive nature, he did that at a really, really high level. But, I mean, testament to Javance and AJ, they made it very, very challenging. It was a very, very close race, and all three of those kids need to be ready. Obviously, Danny's going to get the start, right? But Javance and AJ need to be ready, right? They're only one play away, and as we go through the season, we've all experienced this thing enough to know that there's got to be a next man up mentality, and everyone's got to respond the right way, and they have, since we've had those conversations with them and as we've moved forward.
Coach Lewis made this decision with 2 weeks to go until the Aztec season opener at Snapdragon Stadium against Texas A&M Commerce, which gives O'Neal a chance to get a little bit more comfortable playing with the starters. But it comes as a bit of surprise to me. I figured that Duffy, who played at Florida State for 2 seasons, had the experience and the upper hand to earn the starting job. But what better way for Coach Lewis to bring in a new era of Aztecs football with a freshman that he trusts and can be molded into the type of quarterback he envisions for his Aztec fast offense. Lewis also believes that O'Neal has the leadership qualities to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to probably be able to be a little bit more vocal now, knowing that it's his. Right? I think all three of those kids, is a unique position to be in as they're battling, right, to really kind of step forward and step up and to lead in that way when, nothing has been named to that point, right? But I mean, he's been productive, he's been accurate, he's highly competitive. I think the guys rally around that, and, he just needs to model the right behaviors the way that he has, right, and then, do right, and everything else will kind of fall into place for him. Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty focused young man, right? I mean, ever since, we recruited him way back when, and since he's been here, he's put the blinders on. He's been about the work. I mean, he's very comfortable with who he is, and he's going to be focused into, living the lifestyle that he needs to live as a starting quarterback. And again, all three of those kids, have done a great job with, again, all of this and every single conversation, whether you guys want to talk to them or talk to other guys, right? Like, it's been that white noise in the background all the way through, and I think all of them, the way that they competed, have done a really good job. And again, it's our job to help them mature, right, in that way, because all of them are young, and we got to help them grow and put them in good positions to be successful, right? So that noise is positive on the outside, but at the end of the day, like, it's all external noise, right? And it's things that we don't control and things that we have no power over, right? So we just tune that out, put the blinders on, live in our bubble, and we go forward.
One of the things I thought when I learned that O'Neal would be the starter is that he was chosen because it means Coach Lewis would have him as a starter for 4 years as opposed to a transfer with 2 years of eligibility remaining. But Coach said the future did not play a part in the decision at all.
It was all about this year. It's got nothing to do with the future. It's about right now for all these guys that this is their last year of eligibility. This isn't about the future. It's about putting our team this year and everyone that's a part of this organization in the best position to be successful for the here and the now so that we can win right now. Right, at one point in time, I was the youngest head coach in the country, right, and that's just a number. That is what it is. He'll get experience as we go forward with it, but if we didn't feel like he was mature enough, we wouldn't have given him the ball for week one, right? So we feel like we're in a good spot with that. And again, the way that he's prepared and the way that he's gone about it and the way that he's carried himself both within the facility, outside the facility, we feel good about where he's at.
Steve, the fans had two opportunities to experience the quarterback battle firsthand at Snapdragon Stadium during both the spring practice and during FanFest a few weeks back. Coach Louis says O'Neal has been the most accurate, but that's not what we saw during those scrimmages. But Coach says it's all about the big picture and what the coaches saw from O'Neal during the past 8 months, not what the fans experienced during those scrimmages.
Yeah, I mean, he just settled into doing what he was capable of doing, right? Not pressing, not trying to do too much, and treating each one of those moments just like he has every single day of practice, right? You treat practice like a game. When the games come, you're trained and you're ready for those moments, and he's settled in. And again, like his total process, right? Like the fans get to see a couple of those public days, right? We get to assess and we get to evaluate everything, how he does, right? And we're really, really big about that process and not just the end result on a given day. Yeah, I mean, obviously the tape is what we lean most heavily on, right? I don't get too deep in the analytics. It is one data point with it all, right? But again, you want to look at the process and the end result of how they're going about their business each and every single day. But, there wasn't some special mathematical formation, equation that we lean on to make these sort of decisions, right? It's what we see day in and day out, the composure that the guys have and how they play with, right? And then ultimately what their decision-making process is for why they're doing what they're doing day after day after day.
So, Steve, now that the decision is made, fans won't have to wait all that long to get to weigh in when the Aztecs take the field on Saturday, August 31st.
Back in the day, Louis, there was a little rhyme on a popular 8-track starring a group of fledgling pop superstars. It went something like this. From out of Indiana, like bees from a hive, came a little-known team called the Jackson 5. Now, this one's a little bit different. And still trying it out. It goes kind of like this. From out of Indiana, by way of the Rockies, comes Danny O'Neal at QB. Just hope he has some blockies. No? Still working on it. Remember, Louis, Danny O'Neal and Coach Lou were committed to each other originally at Colorado. Both obviously thought enough about one another to bring the relationship out to the Montezuma Mesa once the Aztecs decided to hire Coach Louis rather quickly after last season. You'd have to imagine that the coach has a certain level of comfort with O'Neal and vice versa because of that. In a similar way, Coach Lou has sought to surround himself with many of the coaches on his staff who are with him at Kent State. It's football, and of course things can change, but getting into this program soon after Coach Lou was named, going through the spring, the work of installing the Aztec fast offense, summer workouts. There's been 3 weeks so far of fall camp. And now, Danny O'Neal will be getting the majority of reps with the first team since the football has been officially put in his hands. Here's how he got the news and what it means to him at this moment.
So Coach called us in, just had a meeting with him and told me the news. And obviously I was pretty excited, but really it's been a goal of mine my whole life to be a Division I starting quarterback, right? So it was awesome to hear, but then it was kind of like the next thing, which is now week one and being the best offense we can be moving forward. The whole room has worked extremely hard for that spot. All 5 guys in there, we push each other every day. We're competing every day, and he told me I'm the starter for week 1. There's no promises for week 2 or anything like that. So as long as everyone keeps competing and working hard, it's going to be a competition all year, and just competing with myself and competing with the other guys in the room. I think just competition, it drives the best out of everyone in the room. All the guys felt the same way about they feel like they can play, everything like that. And it's good to have confidence in yourself like that, but just competition with out on the field, in the room, we're always competing. So it's fun to see like how much growth that we've had as a room, not only just from spring ball, but from the beginning of camp until now.
No, Louis, O'Neal did not know until Sunday that there has never been a true freshman starting at quarterback at San Diego State. He seems to feel that that's cool, but it's meaningless unless he can perform at the position. One way he described the job now is providing the juice for the offense. Accuracy has always been a focus of his, and it's good his coach has the confidence in him. He's been told to keep doing what he's doing. O'Neal will keep working on being a team leader, be worthy of the trust that's been placed in him. It's interesting to hear him talk about the most important lesson he's learned recently. Now, youngsters who want to be in his shoes one day would do well to listen up. None of this happens by accident. It requires some planning because there are only so many hours in each day.
Honestly, learning to manage my time. Didn't study much in high school, so really when it was football season, all I was worried about was football outside of school. Making sure I'm passing all my classes and everything. But now having to study for classes, for tests, getting ahead of things whenever homework is assigned, and then just being able to have that extra free time to be able to study film, meet with coaches, talk through different plays, tell them what I like, what I don't like, stuff like that.
O'Neal obviously looking forward to showing what he and his teammates can show on the football field after all this time in training.
It's going to be pretty electric. We go fast. We're going to pound the rock, take our shots when we can, and it's going to be fun.
At this point, things start moving really fast, Louis. The young man will be taking 5 classes this semester. Starting next week, pretty much every week we'll bring a new opponent, and it's the game that gets played in stadiums on TV, so the QB spot in D1 college is under the microscope. You handle that ball on every offensive play. There's no shortage of armchair quarterbacks. It all looks so simple from the couch. And for now, obviously, suffice it to say there is a lot more to this decision than what fans have seen in the public scrimmages. Also, suffice it to say, the head coach and his staff who were involved in making this decision have the best vantage point and are going on the best available information. So Godspeed, Aztec Fast. Starting in 2 weeks against the Texas A&M Commerce Lions. Arrgh! Let's move on now to the interior of the Aztecs D-line, where David Losay is the first-year Aztecs coach. He joined the staff in the spring after 2 seasons with the Vandals of the University of Idaho in the Big Sky Conference. They reached the FCS quarterfinal game last season. Senior Tupu Alualu returns to anchor the D-line at the nose. After that, the Aztecs have a different look with the new 4-2-5 set. We talked about the edge position in a previous podcast. Coach Losay says the name of the game, as far as he is concerned, is the play of the interior defensive lineman. Along with the nose, that interior is the 3 technique position. I've never played D-line, but the manual says the classic lineup for the interior 3 technique position is off a guard's shoulder inside the tackle. You basically try to find a weak spot on the line away from the tight end and then blast into the backfield, disrupt that play. But no defense is set in stone.
Well, I think what you're going to see is a multitude of defenses because there's a multitude of offenses that we're going to face in this upcoming season and whatnot. So you'll see different things that Aztec fans aren't used to. Then you'll see some things that Aztec fans are used to. We hope to be aggressive and play good style defense like they have here and have a history of doing in the past. We got a couple guys that are returning and whatnot from spring ball. Wyatt Drager and Keon Mitchell doing a good job competing, and then we got a couple new guys that have added some depth in Tavis Tuyoti, Krishna Clay, and Sam Benjamin as well that will add some fire to the mix with Tupu Alu too.
The coach declined to name starters for certain today. One of those spots on the roster, though, where he says he's happy to have some depth.
It's just a rolling door, especially with the way our offense is practicing and the reps we're getting and everything. It's been fun to watch those guys compete and improve on a day-to-day basis.
There are guys ranging from 6'1" to 6'4" in height up to 275 pounds who will be called upon to mix it up in one of the toughest spots on the field, trying to get at whoever has the football around the line of scrimmage, while a bunch of other big guys on the offensive side of the line try to keep you off of them. And sometimes getting away with a hold or two. Probably got a little over my skis with a question about any peek he's been taking at the opening part of the actual schedule for the season. Because after the Lions, there's Oregon State at home, road games at Cal and Central Michigan, and then the all-important conference home opener against Hawaii. Listen in.
You had a chance to look at the early schedule at all to talk about maybe pre-scouting some opponents?
Only thing on my mind right now, we've taken a deep dive into the summer, but really the next thing on my schedule is lunch.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta love any coach who can leave them laughing, right, Louis? And I am happy to play the straight man. So the rest of the week is closed to the media, Louis. That's all we will hear publicly from the staff or players as they close out the fall camp for the week. And then next week, it's game prep. We will hopefully get the first two-deep roster of the season and hear again from Coach Lou on Monday, August 26th. And that will wrap up this edition of Aztecs All In. We're on the X at Aztecs_all_in. You can drop us hate or love mail via our Gmail account, aztecsallin@gmail.com. Steve Perez for Louis Weiner saying thanks for stopping by, and we will look forward to being with you again very soon.